How do you feel the Army's changed over the years, and do you think the changes have been positive?
Well, as I say, it's a sad day today because we're hearing of a reduction to 82,000, which I think is totally wrong, but there we are. It's changed, of course, enormously during my service, because when I joined the Army, although I was a regular soldier, I went into the Army as a regular. 2/3 of the Army were national servicemen, they were conscripts. And so every young man in the country had to do his military service. In Korea, for example, yes, I would think 60–70% of the battalion in Korea were national servicemen. And I often say to people now, can you imagine the British nation putting up with young men, conscripts, not even volunteers, being sent to a place like Korea to fight a war? Of course, it's unthinkable. And so when national service finished in the 60s, the Army reduced to an all-regular size. And then bit by bit over the years, we've had reductions and changes, amalgamations and so on and so forth. One big thing that has changed is the conditions of married service, because, again, happily in my time, the battalion or individuals took their wives with them wherever they were posted, to peacetime vacations, to Singapore, or Hong Kong, or I started my married life in Hong Kong for a couple of years. So the battalion moved with its families, wives, children, and there were schools, and there were hospitals, and overseas. Then, when we went into these operations, such as, as recently Iraq and Afghanistan, where wives couldn't go, bit by bit, you've got a situation in which the wives and families stay in England while their husbands go off to serve wherever. And of course that has spoiled in some respects the life in the Army, because taking your wife and family to a place like Singapore or Hong Kong for a couple of years, very nice, very pleasant. I was lucky because my children travelled everywhere with us. We had a marvellous time in India, and so I was lucky. But that has put a hell of a strain on the Army, and even more of a strain in Afghanistan and Iraq and so on. Yeah, that's been, I would say, one of the biggest changes.
Mm. And the national service, do you think that's something that should still be used today, or?
Well, everyone says bring back national service, they thought it was good for the use of the country, and which I think it probably was.